think about pushing the cube. That's one.
So this sensor is detecting his emotion.
It measures my anger. And that gives me extra power. Okay, just go right.
Kill him.
Right.
Okay, so how does this work? What's going on?
I wanted to go outside a little bit.
And the quiet? Yes, where it's quieter. Okay.
Okay, where should we start now? Okay, can you come here a little bit? Okay. So, brain computer interface. I explained you the basic logic behind it. Okay, your brain emits a signal, you detect that signal, and you are using it as a control signal for a computer. Okay? That's, I suspect I guess I'm speaking to IT guys, so I'm not going to.
Yes, we're both IT guys.
Okay, so they're different. Now, all of them are called brain-computer interfaces, but it's a very broad term. There are many technologies used and many different signals. One of the signals used is the steady-state evoked potential signals, the SSBPs, which are here in the optical cortex. Okay, the idea is simple. This is the optical center of your brain. Okay? So, whenever you see a light flashing on a certain frequency, there is a certain phenomenon where this part of your brain starts to operate at the same frequency. Okay. So, you see 5 lights, 5, 7, 8, 12 hertz flashing, different frequencies. By actually taking a reading from this part of his brain, you can understand where he's looking.
Right.
For example, if this is 5 hertz, he's looking at the 5 hertz.
Just by frequency?
Yeah.
So different.
If he's looking at something flashing on 5 hertz frequency, this is going to operate on 5 hertz. If he's looking at something flashing on 12 hertz frequency, this is going to operate on 12 hertz. Okay?
Okay.
So basically, that's how you get the control signal. So this is one of them, and the next one is the P300. The P300 is on variation cortex over here. Okay.
Okay.
Now this is a signal associated generally with intelligence. Okay. When your brain actually receives a stimuli, there is a certain process which is triggered every time. Now there are different kinds of signals get triggered, and we name these signals with a P or an N, whether it's a positive or a negative potential, and with a number indicating how many milliseconds after the stimuli interpolate between the stimuli and the signal. Okay, so for example, we have the P100, which is the visual processing. Your brain sees an image. It processes, so this happens around milliseconds after you see something. We have the N200, which is usually associated with memory. By the way, these are not definite. This is not definitely wrong. We know that it's associated. We know it's associated with memory.
Yes.
It doesn't matter, it just does that. It doesn't mean it just does that, or it's 100% sure that this is what it does, okay? We have the P300, which is knowledge. Basically, you see a picture of a cat, you process the picture of the cat, you find in your memory a picture of the cat. This is the 200, and the 300, you realize, yes, this is a cat. Cool, okay? And then you have the N400, which is usually when you're reading text, which is an extra signal which actually translates the meaning of the word you're seeing. Okay?
Analysis and stuff like that.
No, I mean you understand the meaning. You see the picture, you remember, you've seen the same words again and again and again. Actually, I don't know if you've seen that thing where if the first and the last letter of the word is the same, you can read the first. Yeah. So you're not actually reading, you're basically looking at images. And so at 300 you understand that, okay, this is a word, and from 400 you understand the meaning of the word. So this is the basic way of how the brain processes information from the outside world. Now, for example, if you have someone with nausea, you're not going to see anything like that. The P300 is completely outside. The basic idea is that whenever you see something, P300 response is triggered. Okay, so how do you make this useful? If you actually see something that you expect to see, that P300 response is greater. So if I'm telling you you're about to see a blue ball, it's red ball, red ball.
Priming.
P300. Then I actually showed you the blue ball, then it's going to be a greater P300 response. So we can detect that and say, okay, see, that's...
So you can detect surprise.
Surprise, and whenever you're expecting something, they made a keyboard with that thing, but we only have 1 minute, so I'm not going to expect. Then you have that on the motor cortex, which is the telekinesis signals. There are basically two signals. What we detect is a signal which is right before the movement. I'm not going to get into much detail, but it's only binary. We've only managed to actually... The motor cortex is a very complicated part of your brain. I mean, stuff happens all the time when you're just studying, and you have neurons firing up every single moment. The movement also is something that, okay, just triggered the moves of around 17 of my muscles, something that happens instantly. Okay, so it's really difficult to detect things like that. What we can do right now in the lab is to detect the binary signal. So we detect if you're moving your right arm, generally the left side of your brain, okay, not the left arm, the right side of your brain.
Yes.
The right side of your brain gets activated more, let's say, lights up, it's a Christmas tree, compared to the other side, to the contralateral, as we say, side of the brain. So you can have a binary signal out of that, left or right. Okay. This is the whole telekinesis thing. Oh, this doesn't do that, actually. I'll tell you. And finally, we have something which is really weird and experimental. They say on the frontal lobe, some studies indicate that they've managed to detect differences in the readings between happy and unhappy emotions. However, this is still...
It wasn't in the program.
If everything I said right now is one-time experimental, this is like the experimental hipster underground. Okay?
New Age.
So, what this thing does...
Quantum healing.
It's basically detecting muscle movements, which is the simplest thing of them all. When I was saying move, you were actually performing this move with your head.
I was squinting. I was squinting with my eyes.
That's what it detected.
Yes.
It's something really simple. And it makes a very good guess of your emotions based also on your facial expressions. I'm telling you, facial expressions, muscle movements are really easy to read. You can read them with that piece of shit. Because it's like huge potentials. So that's what it does. However, we are in game development, we're not in medical research, so that's okay.
Yes.
As long as the player thinks that, you know what, I'm getting angry and I'm doing this and
something's happening.
I blow things up. Actually, if you're feeling angry, your face, it reads your feelings, but not the same way you think it does.
Yes.
It just uses a much simpler technology and a much simpler way to do that, which is actually quite good because it's way more dependable. Potentials like that, it's way more dependable, and they can have some practical applications. The other things I described right now are in the labs.
But what was anger actually detected, or was it also muscle movement?
It detected the muscle movement that was triggered by your emotions. It didn't detect your emotions themselves. It didn't detect the electrical activity of your neurons in the brain. The electrical activity that was triggered by your emotions. It detected your muscle movement that was triggered by your emotions. In the end, it detected your emotions.
So I need to actually move my face.
That's why we have the music in the game.
Okay.
And well, I don't have enough time left, and I guess you're not. This is it. It's a very promising technology.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it can have practical applications, and I'll repeat this again. It doesn't really matter. Well, so far we're only in the lab, where we are actually detecting your thoughts, the thoughts themselves, but it's okay as long as the player is happy. We're in game development, not in medical research. As long as the player is happy.
Yes, it will work very well. If anger effects, because
you're practically like an illusionist, like you know.
Yes.
You think he performs magic, he doesn't do that, but he uses trickery in order to convince you that he's performing magic, and in the end you're getting entertained.
Yes.
That's the point. However, in the lab, these things are for real, they can happen. And
with something more expensive.
guess in 10 years we can see practical.
With an fMRI machine.
The latest prosthetic limbs allow the user to move his fingers. This technology is for real. It's just on its infancy yet.
Yes.
So,
thank you.
Okay.
So what is the title of your thesis?
Brain-computer interfaces and games. I want to bring brain-computer interfaces and games together.
Okay.
Because I think it has potential, and I think gaming, but that's a completely different subject. Gaming can really.
Yes.
I'm Stelios Avramidis, and this was my thesis. Thank you very much.
Good luck. Thank you.